Esiet sveicināti Magnum veterinārijas otrā podkāstu raidījumā. Šodienas raidījuma tēma ir ēdināšana. Ēdināšana no lauka līdz galdam. Šodienas studijas viesis mums ir Kārgila ēdināšanas eksperts. Hai, Gregaš!
Hai!
Un šodienas sarunu vadīs saimniecības Pampāļu fermas vadītājs Toms. Sveiks, Tom!
Čau, Anna!
Prieks tev atkal redzēt, un es gribēju pirms dot tev vārdu vadīt sarunu, viens jautājums. Es dzirdēju, ka tu esi nesen atgriezies no Amerikas. Varbūt tu vari vienkārši pastāstīt klausītājiem kaut ko jaunu, ko tu, droši vien tu ne pirmo reizi biji Amerikā, un kā viņiem tur tā situācija piena cenai, arī ēdināšanai?
Amerika jebkurā ziņā ir cita pasaule, tie izmēri, apmēri un cik tas viss ir liels, tas īsti nav salīdzināms ar Eiropu, bet menedžmenta ziņā mēs neesam tālu no viņiem noteikti, bet kur viņi ir stipri priekšā ir tas, cik viņi sen jau strādā ar ģenētiku, un to ģenētiku var ļoti labi arī redzēt ganāmpulkos, kad viss ir vienmērīgs, jaunlopi ir ar labu, spēcīgu struktūru, ar augstiem rādītājiem, kā piemēram TPI, netmērīts, netmērīts, ja vidēji ganāmpulkā ir 1000 un uz augšu, un tā barības konversija ir pavisam lielāka, un tā enerģijas izmantojamība arī ir daudz labāka, tad mēs jau ģenētiski esam vismaz kaut kāds 5 paudzes uz atpakaļ, un tāpēc tur arī uzsvars tika likts uz ģenētisko testēšanu, kur mēs arī iepaliekam, mēs arī izrunājām tās visas lietas. Ja viņiem, piemēram, ir 20-30% ģenētiski testēti dzīvnieki, mēs Latvijā runājam par 5 dzīvniekiem. Līdz ar to tur arī parādās tā fantastika, ko dara ģenētika. Ja mēs varam sagatavot labu rupjo lobarību, arī menedžments kopēji fermā un arī kopējā efektivitāte ir diezgan ok, tad tā ģenētika ir tas, kas mums arī ir jāstrādā, un tas arī dod to lielo rezultātu. Nerunājot par to visu apjomu, bet tās ir tās lielākās lietas, kur salīdzinoši ar Latviju mēs arī diezgan atpaliekam.
Bet vispārējais ēdināšana
nekādu mistiku viņi nenodarbojas, noteikti ir stipri līdzīgi, kas viņiem ir interesanti. Varbūt viņi izbaro, piemēram, cotton seeds, kas viņiem ir interesants produkts, kur ir gan šķiedrvielas, tauki un proteīns diezgan stabilā augstā līmenī. Ja mēs paņemam TMR, tad var teikt, tur pavisam tas būtu gan izvērt TMRs vienā sēklā, kas viņiem tāds interesants, bet pārējās tās izēvielas ir stingri līdzīgas, ļoti daudz kukurūzas, 10% kaut kāda ir lucerna un stiebrezāle, un pārējie proteīna avoti ir jau pēc izvēles. Un tā struktūra ir diezgan līdzīga. Tas fokus arī ir, mēs pat vairāk nodarbojamies ar mikromanagementu. Viņi ir izkopuši ļoti labi tās pamatlietas, ģenētika, menedžments, ēdināšana, un beigās viņi arī pareizi saka, let the cow be a cow. Un nenodarbojas ar visādām, varbūt muļķībām, ar ko mēs šeit nodarbojamies, bet reāli pelna naudu, un tā ir tā galvenā atziņa arī īstenībā, ko es paņēmu no turienes, un kad mums arī vajadzētu būt tai ambīcijai, kāda ir viņiem veidot liels ganāmpulkus, nebaidīties iet uz priekšu, un tam visam vēl pa virs ir tās ģimeniskās vērtības kaut vai, kas bija interesanti, lai es iezīmētu, ir tas, ka kaut vai viņiem ir lielas saimniecības, bet to, ka tās visas lielās saimniecības ir ģimeņu korporatīvi, vienkārši, kas ir iemācījušies strādāt kopā, ir spējuši piesaistīt naudu un vienkārši izkopuši sistēmu, un tu vienkārši kopē no fermas uz fermu, un tad viņi arī sasniedz tos rādītājs 10, 20, 30 tūkstoši, un tas ir iespaidīgi, jā. Kopumā tas ir iespaidīgi, bet es domāju, mums arī Latvijā ar laiku būs līdzīgs ievirs. Un jā, bet kopumā forši, jā.
Es ticu, ka forši, es arī gribētu aizbraukt uz Ameriku. Bet pastāst droši vien citus interesē, kā viņam ir piena cena? Krītas? Vai,
tāda pati cena kā mums, apmēram 40 centiem. Mēs bijām tieši Ajovā, Idaho un Viskonsīnā piena reģionos. Tās cenas ir ļoti līdzīgas, bet jebkurā ziņā viņi pelna no krustojuma teļiem. Viņi mēģina pa nulēm iziet ar pienu, jo tās cenas nav ļoti labvēlīgas, tāpat kā mums. Un, bet ir daudz ko mācīties, noteikti visiem vajadzētu aizbraukot vai vienreiz pastīties to visu globālo kapitālismu un kāds viss arī notiek. Tur mums jāmācās, jā. Šodienas podkāstā mūsu tēma ir par ēdināšanu, un lai mēs saprastu, kur tad rodas tie 14 un 15 tūkstoši vidēji izlaukumu no dzīvnieka. Un tādēļ mums ir viesis no Polijas. Hello, Gregors. Nice to meet you. I already introduced our guests about our today's subject, about the feeding. The first one is that from my perspective, I'm the farm manager. The most interesting part is how to find the right feed consultant and what is great feed consultant from your perspective.
That's a really good question, I guess, because everybody would like to find the best one you can get. But for me, from my experience, for 14 years, I'm already doing it. I'm now more linked to the additive side of the industry, but still, I'm doing everyday work with the farms. And for me, the philosophy of the good nutritionist is always the same. You need to be sure that the basics are there, that you are doing good quality for your cows, and then you can think about the rest. And then you can think about the management, and then you can get rid of all the errors you can do with the management, because this is the one simple truth, is that whenever there are some people, there will be some mistakes, and you need to calculate that it will happen, yeah? But if you are on top of your game, let's say, and you are a farm manager, so I know you are...
Describe the top of the game.
Yeah, so...
What he does.
He, first of all, not looking only on the screen of laptop and on the diet, because good nutritionists need to adjust. Every time when you are meeting with the nutritionist, they need to adjust the diet, because the quality...
How fast he need to react? Because in my experience, multiple times I send all of the data, all of the dry matter intakes, all of the dry matter content into silages, from everything. But still, like, reaction time is like 2 days, 3 days. Oh, no, I'm on the vacation. Is it normal or not? How you think?
Because I think, okay, we are only people, so yeah, it could be normal. But if you think about it, when you are looking at the, let's say, milk solids, and you are seeing that the milk fat is dropping, yeah, you have 3, 4, 5 days to react before the acidosis is arriving, before you are seeing a lot of leftovers that are not eaten. So you have time to react. When you are looking at the trends, for instance, as a nutritionist, overall trends of the herd, when you are saying that you are sending all the information you have to the nutritionist about the leftovers, about the diet, the change of the quality, change of the dry matter, you have 2, 3, 4 days to think, to react, not to get some
still
problems.
Why there are difference between those who got some kind of excuses and there is the one good one who can react within few hours? Because from farmers' point of view, every day costs money, you know?
Yeah, I could agree. But, okay, so good nutritionist for you would be the one who will react the fastest. This is the simple
Not
answer.
the only one, but it will be a big plus for him.
This is the simple answer. Because we used to, and I'm part of it, because I'm more involved with the additives, so you know, a lot of deep dive into the nutrition knowledge, all the stuff. But we are overcomplicating things, I think. This is my experience, that sometimes we need to go back, stick to the basics, get rid of all the basic problem, and not try to compensate your probably some mistakes that is made on the farm by buying the expensive products that could cover it. You can do it, but for how long? It won't be sustainable. Sustainable will be taking 70% of your milk yield from the good quality forage and silage, 20% from the management, probably some 5 to 10% of the good genetics. And then we can talk about the additives or talk about adding something new to the diet, you know.
Okay, it's like situation when the feed consultant doesn't know the farm. Usually if he is already working with the farm for some time, then there is no such issue because he's already know and he believes to the manager or someone who's responsible about the stuff. So it should be more quick, you know?
Yeah.
If there's a problem, there's solution, and there's like action after that. Okay, what about like milking software? Because in our region, it's quite hard to find a feed consultant who could do things remotely. Do you think it's some kind of good sign that he knows the system and can find stuff by himself or not? Because for me, in my eyes, it's like quite decent, modern dairy manager. I love software. I love data, and I can't imagine that there is the old guy who sits there and he only knows what you say to him.
Yeah.
From my perspective, there's all of data. I'm not like hiding anything, There's the computer. I give you like fully remote access. Go straight there, and it's like on the paper, But usually, and I can't stand that. It's the same if you like feed consultant send me like recipe on the Excel without like, I don't know, lysine, methionine balances and so on. It's like feed that and that's all. It's nothing, What you think?
I couldn't agree more, because this is the ways of doing things. Like when I started 14 years ago, most of the nutritionists were, okay, this is the diet, go. Yeah. Now we have robots, we have milking software, we have everything. If you give me the access, I can do it, most of the adjustment from my phone. So you need to be, I know that not everybody is, let's say, ready for it, but this is what it is. This is the world. So, and you can imagine that AI also will help you. Sometimes you will ask AI, then you will ask your nutritionist, and then you will believe that the AI is giving you the better answer. I'm not saying that you need to stick to AI, but your nutritionist needs to be aware of this, that you are getting more and more data and more knowledge from the different sources, and it will be like that. And he needs to be, this is what I mean when I'm saying he needs to be on top of the game. It's not like, okay, I'm old, I'm not getting used to this new software, so maybe let's skip that. I will do it, do the dieting in the Excel. No, you cannot do it. Good nutritionist who would like to work with the farms like yours, he needs to be ready to use the software, to use AI even, because it will happen. I can tell you that from perspective of my company, we are trying to implement AI more and more every day, and you will do it as well, or you're already doing it. So yeah, nutritionist needs to adjust, needs to be on top of the game. That's my answer.
Okay, let's move to the fundamentals. Gregor, you already know that you can milk 45 kgs with high LGs like 65% and concentrates to 35, and way around, like 50-50 high LGs and 50-50 concentrates. So what's the healthiest way and why?
Big questions, I would say, because the healthier and the best way would be the most efficient way for you to earn money from the milk you're milking, and to keep the animals in the certain, let's say, point of health that you are not need to intervene with anything. So less visit of the vet, less visit of your nutritionist, because no adjustment needed. And yeah, that's the key spot. That's the sweet spot of feeding. And I wouldn't say that the ratio of 70% of haelages, 30% of the concentrate is better than 60-40 or 50-50. It depends on every time it depends on the case. So it's what the output is. If your income over feed cost is high enough and you do not have health problems, you are doing stuff properly. If not, you need to adjust, you need to change something.
But how you should prepare the haelages if you would like to milk the same amount as 50-50 ratio? What's the most important indicators of the haelages?
Probably the time of the harvest, how you prepare it, and how you conserve it. So, okay, it's another big question of the nutrition is that
Like the main ones, like fiber, digestibility.
and
What's your goals? Like what's
quality
for you?
of
It's like perfect digestibility. Like for example, alpha.
it will be I don't know 40 NDF 40 around 40%. The cows are living from the carbohydrates, so they need to have digestive carbohydrates in the diet as much as possible. And when we are speaking about carbohydrates, we can divide it in two groups: the structural and not structural. So everybody is thinking about the starch, which is carbohydrates, but non-structural, which is important. But the most important part of the diet for the cow will be always structural carbohydrates. You know ketosis, and you know how it's getting worse for the animals. How it's beginning of lack of the fiber of the structural carbohydrates. So it always depends on the quality of your silages. Maybe let's not stick to the certain numbers of the how much do you need, but you need enough not to get some metabolic diseases, and you need enough to have the rumen work properly. Let's say open answer.
What are the biggest mistakes when people are preparing, the farmers are preparing their haylage?
Time of the harvest, maybe condition of harvesting when it's too wet, for instance. When you cut it too low, too short with from the soil, so it will get contaminated, and then like that you will get more ADF, lignin, so it will be a lot of fiber that is not digested by the rumens or the animal. So it will be just making this passage of your feed too fast. It will be something that is not used, but you have the certain dry matter intake per day of the cow, that certain aim, yeah. And if you, let's say, give too much lignin, too much ADF with the diet, they will just eat this amount, for instance 25 kgs of dry matter intake, which is normal, but they won't produce milk from it because from lignin and ADF they cannot. So it's better for you to have digestive NDF where the rumen will start to degrade it and take some energy from it, and make a room for proteins and starch, not to push too much with the lignin. So for me, maybe this looking at the lignin level, ADF level would be the most important. And the quality, it needs to be clean. And how you prepare it.
Okay, but overall, I think that you could agree that like all Europe can grow better grass and prepare better silages than we do in Eastern Europe. And it's a fact that they can milk like Denmark, Netherlands, Germany can milk like 45 with starch 20, but in our region we are pushing like starch 27 even to 30, like sugar levels at 5% and so on.
That's the problem, sugar levels. The Benelux, the west part of Europe, they have really more energetic haylages, silages because of the environment. We do not have climate for that yet. Maybe it will change. Maybe we need to think about, we are talking about making better genetics for the animals. Let's start to think about the better genetics of the grass, for instance. Let's maybe go there and try to learn.
Other interesting subject into the feeding is protein, which is the biggest cost from the feeding perspective. What you put like what you bought from the outside, like rapeseed, soy, so on, and those very popular ingredients. And how much you could like replace it with like good haylages?
In the perfect world,
in the
perfect world,
like,
everything. It will be in the perfect world. You will
just dreams and hopes.
Yeah. You could try to do it as much as possible with the haylage, silage, forage, whatever. But I know that is not obtainable.
Could you milk like 50 kgs per cow with 1 kilogram of soy and 1 kilogram of rapeseed?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's the answer. Okay. what I noticed in Latvia, and we talked already about the financials, that a lot of people, especially in Eastern Europe, not tracking them. Like the golden standard is income over feed cost. What you think? How it's important to track it down, because we know that like farmers are there for the business, not for the very expensive hobby. So what's your approach for that? To push it higher to get the results at top 5, or always the first one indicator is income over feed cost, and to catch that sweet spot?
I know that you already know the answer, because you already said it, that it doesn't make any sense to push the dreams and hopes. And we know that, I don't know what is here, but in Polish market we are seeing it every day, that people are making milk for the sake of making milk, doesn't care about the solids, doesn't care about the income over feed cost, doesn't care that if they this month earn something from their industry or not. They just pushing to be the first, to be the biggest, to be, the best one, which is, for me, is not the way of doing business, because we need to think about farmers and farms like industries. And this is something that is really not so common in the family farms, that they are doing stuff like they did in the past, and they will do it right now, and they won't calculate anything. Simple question everybody should ask, every nutritionist should ask his client, his farmers, how much it costs you the 1 kilogram of your protein from your silage, and how much do you need to pay for the rapeseed meal, for the kg of the protein of rapeseed meal or soybean meal. Then, when you compare it, you will see that the grass silage proteins are twice or even 3 times cheaper than the rapeseed meal, twice of rapeseed meal, and maybe triple if we count in the soybean meal. So if you put it like that, and you prove to people, to farmers, that the cheapest protein source they could get is on their field, they maybe at that point start to think about it a little bit wisely.
But what's the range usually? What's the normal feed costs from the income, the percentage wise from the income? Because in Latvia, I'm tracking that. I know that, like, if it's in the range, depending on the milk price, like 30 to 40%, we're good,
Yeah.
And if there is like rises, the milk price dropping under the 40 cents per liter, then the feed cost increases as well. Like if it's higher than 40%, we get the problem,
So it's probably universal everywhere. I think 50-50 is still, for us, I think 50-50, if we spend on the feed cost 50% of the milk, is still, we are earning money, but it always depends on the management. So yeah, but it's getting quite scary right now that milk price is decreasing and feed costs are increasing. This is we are in the scary spot that we are. For you, 40% is the easy level. For most of the farms, I think 50% will be still profitable. Yeah, that's it depends on your let's say attitude.
But still, people track down your feed costs. Is the best way to track down your money and your profits. It is how it is, and that's why if I'm asking to other farmer this question, if he can't answer, then it's like, it is how it is, dreams and hopes.
Yeah, and this is really nicely put, dreams and hopes. That's why.
Okay, the next subject is your favorite one, about the protected amino acids. Because it's the subject as well here, as well in Europe overall. Everyone is discussing about the importance of them, but usually like people are like focusing on transition period, close-up groups, and the fresh period when you can feel the biggest importance. But we could separate the question about that in 2 parts. How much like you could replace the basic protein if you increase the protected amino acids?
Proteins are proteins, and amino acids are the, let's say, the bricks that we are building this whole house we call in nutrition. So amino acids will be digested in the intestine. So we need to make sure that with the proteins we are implementing enough amino acids to the animal to digest, because if there will be some losses, so for instance the amount of the methionine, for instance, will be too low, the whole process of milk,
which is the first limited factor,
so
methionine, or
first will be methionine, the second one lysine. So, and it's always like that because it's linked to also to the basics, because in the normal scenario, feeding scenario, you will use grass silage, corn silage, maybe haylage, soybean meal, and rapeseed.
But people doesn't know.
But let's go to the basics and let's go to the normal scenario. Why the methionine is the limiting factor of feeding? Because in the grass silage, you will get 7% of the methionine of crude protein, so it won't give you enough. The corn silage is of the limits because it has some, but it's the lowest. The soybean meal, everybody thinking, okay, I'm lacking protein, maybe I need to put more protein. You can do it, but then you will just try to cover one problem with creating another one. You are losing money because you are pumping the price of the feed, because you are putting more soybean meal, which is cost for the farm, and you probably won't get enough results because soybean meal is also around 7%, 6% of the methionine. So there is no normal way of implementing enough of methionine into the feed. So that's why when somebody is starting to talk about the amino acids, I will always start with methionine. The next one in line is lysine.
But still, we were in one seminar when there were people who were talking about no matter of the milk production, if you're using in right dosages, like even for 50 kg average milk yield herd, you can increase like 1.5 kg. Do you believe it? It's like almost 100% sure, because you saw the statistics.
I couldn't agree, because for me, it's like saying, okay, the sky is the limit, and whenever you just put more methionine and you will get the better results. No, you will get the results that you're supposed to get from the amount of the crude protein you originally put into the diet, because you need to have certain amount of proteins, and in that you need to have certain ratio and certain amount of the methionine and lysine. So if the level of lysine and methionine will be on the good level, for instance, lysine will be 170 grams per head per day and 70 grams of the methionine, you are good to go, and then you can increase some protein levels.
Okay, if we touch the additives overall and milk yields, everyone is talking about the additives and waiting for like 1.5 kg, because like it's like marketing for every salesperson that if you are using that additive 1.5, that additive 1.5, and then the farmer thinks, okay, I will buy 5, then 7.5 kgs increase. But we all know that it doesn't work like that. That maybe what are your top 3 additives? If like you already see that there is quite decent management, quite decent TMR on the farm, and everything is quite good, but okay, there are details. What could be your top performers?
If we consider buffers as an additive, I will put it on the second spot. First spot for me, I think the market it's the most as additives. Just after buffers, it will be yeast product. And I'm talking about all the yeast products, because yeast products are not only the yeast product.
Okay, maybe you can move on to the third one, and afterwards we will talk about
second one is buffers, but buffers is self-explanatory. Everybody knows. You have feeding, you have pH drops in the rumen. Buffers help to manage. Okay, it will be better for everybody not to have this pH drops and some risk of SARA. But in the feeding today, we always have the risk of SARA, so buffers will help you with that. So it's easy. That's why it is my top 2. And top 3, it will be something I could not, let's say, think which one is better, because for me on the same level, it depends on the farm. If the limiting factor is amino acids, I will go with amino acids. If not, I will go with the mycotoxin
What about
agent.
buffer fats, calcium soaps, fractionated fats?
So,
Like shortly, like
okay,
one sentence.
Okay,
your
they are
thoughts.
also good, really good. As when you need some energy source, some. If we are speaking about the fats, yeah. So if you need the real quick energy and your diet need it, okay, they are also good. But it always depends. That's why it's really hard for me to pick 3, because if you have mycotoxin problem, the most useful for you will be mycotoxin agent. If your limiting factor of feeding is amino acids, let's go with the amino acids. But if you lacking the energy, let's go with the fats. But overall, that's why I started.
You're not like American about, okay, I understood your approach. If there is like deficiency, it's like first option for you, you know. But like I like Americans, okay. The first one, monenzyme, okay, it's forbidden here.
Yeah, it's forbidden here. So
In the second one is buffers, and the third one for them was yeast. Yes,
and
those 3.
so yeah, so I'm almost the same as them, but the quite opposite order, because for me, you know why I picked yeast? Because they are really good overall additives. It will give you some effects, some good effects on health, on production, in almost every scenario. When you said it, that your TMR is quite good managed, you have quite good quality of the silages of your materials, the yeast will always give you some good effects.
So there is a lot of like kinds of the yeast. The basic ones are Saccharomyces. Maybe tell about like what's the difference between them.
Maybe let's not go to the strains.
Not to the strains, but overall like characteristics.
So sometimes I'm doing this presentation when I compare why there is so many yeast products and why they are different. So they are from the same family. They are coming from the yeast fermentation. They are yeast fermentation products. Yeah. So I always compare it to something that we know from our lives. The food. What are the types of the food that we can call yeast fermentation product? A beer, a wine, and bread. They are not the same, yeah? They have different purpose. And it depends on your need right now.
So there's one kind of yeast for the fiber, other kind of yeast for the sugars, and so on into the simple terms, yes?
Not so much. Because, for instance, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, the mostly known strain, most usable strain in the world, it's from just this one strain, we created 5 types of the yeast fermentation products. So it's not like
versions or generations.
Like moss, like beta-glucans that are coming from the yeast, like live yeast, like dead yeast, like activated dead yeast, and metabolites. Also, on top of that, postbiotics. So, yeah, we have 6 or 7 groups of substances that are coming from only one strain of the yeast. So that's why I told you that.
But what are like possible benefits of it? Because you took my attention today that, okay, I know that we are quite a problem in our farm with like fiber digestibility, and you talked about, okay, you can use that kind of like yeast, and there is possibility that you could increase like even 8% of the fiber digestibility. Okay, it's already interesting for me and for the other farmers as well, because everyone like in farmers are looking on the yeast subject like that. Okay, I know it helps for the rumination, so on, but it's very rare that farmers know like how it works, you know.
Okay, so I will try to be quick.
You must.
Yeah. So, to be honest, when I'm speaking about the yeast, I'm thinking more about the postbiotics than the yeast itself. because there is one significant difference, that you have live organism that you will put inside the animal, and you will hope and dream, which was stated today a couple of times, that it will do the good things for your rumen and for your intestine, yeah? But with the yeast, the real deal of the yeast is that we are not, let's say, we are not counting of the yeast. The yeast are not the best we can get from them. The metabolites, the substances that they are producing and then releasing to the organism of animal is the one thing that we are kind of hoping that they will do. So you have the live yeast, and you need to have the right environment. You need to have the right,
Okay, yeah, but if there are problems with the pHs,
then yeast cannot work properly. That's why I'm more sticking to the metabolites, which are let's say, there are some companies that will take the yeast, do the fermentation for the animal, and just take the metabolites. And metabolites is not the live organism. It's just the dried stuff that's supposed to be produced by the yeast inside the animal.
It's side products.
Yeah. So in the end, you have consistent product that you know what it is capable of. Because with the live yeast, you do not know. With the live yeast, you need to have also some. Live yeast are like probiotics. Yeah. You need to put some fuel on them, so prebiotics, and enough fuel to produce the metabolites, to release the metabolites. So if there is a way to skip
you need to cook a little bit,
yeah, the animal need to cook a little bit. So sometimes there is some places where they are doing stuff for the animals. So then you are sure that you will get the right product, the right metabolites, right amount of the metabolites. That's why I can state to you that, okay, we can increase the fiber digestion for about 7-8%, because it's science-based. It was measured.
You're a believer.
It's science-based. So it is published, it is proven, so you can believe it because it is proven. So and with the live yeast, there is there is significant data about it, but we will never know what it will happen in your animal. So that's the main difference between metabolites and the live yeast, for instance.
I have a question for Toms. What you see in the farms? Which feed additives they are using?
The same. There was yeast. Okay, a lot of people were quite satisfied about Diamond V. Overall, they are putting everything in for as well, like rumen protected amino acids. They are a little bit kind of like disagreeing and agreeing between those farms, but still they are almost using everything. The same with the fractionated fats as well. They allow them. So almost they are using everything, basic stuff, what are quite common in our region as well. But on the feeding table, you can see there's like high digestible grass, very, very high starch corn. Usually corn is like 70-80%, even 90%, and alfalfa grass silage or the hay is 10-15% of the dry matter. But still, it's all about digestibility. And if you can provide that, then there is a result. So, but from additive perspective, they allow monenzyme, yeast, Diamond V was popular, and the rest of them as well. If you want to push 45-50 kgs, then And
but they are counting. They are counting how much it costs. Feed additives or
of course they are number-based farms. Not those farms who's pushing. Okay, but I visited those farms which are top genetic farms and show farms. Maybe they are not telling till the end a lot of stuff because a lot of people are coming to visit them, and they need to be at the highest level. Of course, if you go to the Texas, there are usually those farms 10K, 15K. They're milking cow herds, and they are pushing you 37, 38. And you can see a lot of animals within the groups are dropping out. It's not Like even when you go almost to the perfect farm, it's total different story. One is like purely conventional farm, one is like semi show farm, and one is like purely genetics. Okay, milk production is one, but there is like ET, embryo transference, and so on. Genetic question, and they are selling those animals as well for like big numbers. But yeah. Gregos, you already know that I'm non-believer. What you think about like communication between feed consultant, farm manager, and maybe even veterinarian? Why I'm asking that it's not quite common here,
I guess it's not common everywhere.
In Poland as well, yes.
Yeah. That's the harsh truth, because for me it's even weird that you are saying that you have some communication problems with nutritionists, which not supposed to happen, because you are as a farm manager, you are the most important person for the nutritionist to talk. Yeah, this is in my eyes. I will always go to the farm manager, because you are the one who has all the knowledge to make this diet happen. And going with the vets, I'm not saying that they are the one to blame, but from my experience, I know that the communication between the vets, the nutritionist, and the farm manager is really difficult. It's really hard to be on the same side every time. The problem is not where everybody is doing his job and it's going good. The problem is starting when they are starting to blaming each other.
I think in Poland the biggest problem is the same as in Latvia. Before I was farm manager, I was working as field veterinarian. Like I got my own private practice. It's more or less like old Soviet Union's kind of style for the veterinarians, because they are like more manipulation guys than consultation guys. And for me as well, when I finished my university, I didn't knew almost anything about the feed, and usually for most of the vets it's the same. Okay, he sees like, okay, it looks quite, I don't know. He got no experience and the knowledge like to tell something. It's only as well now I get like total different kind of point of view. When I'm farm manager, I see the whole picture, and it's totally different as it was like 5 years ago when I was do the private practice, and that's the biggest problem. If someone comes like a vet, like, and he starts to talk about something related to the feeding and stuff like that, maybe like one or two guys, I believe, here in Latvia that I could like take some kind of advice. Otherwise, it's like, I assume that there is a little bit more of diarrhea. I ask him like, how many percentage? What kind of diarrhea? Why are you telling me like that? But there's no like further some kind of like explanation. Nothing. And I think it's the same.
It's the same in Poland. So, and you already explained it really in a good way, because the doctors, most of the time, they are not nutritionists and they won't ever be.
But still, everyone should know the basics.
Should. And if they do not know, they shouldn't be messing with it. For me, maybe it's not the issue for you guys here, but sometimes we have this problem that the vet would like to be the boss of the whole farm. So it will mess with the feeds, it will mess with the treating the cows. He's good at treating cows, so he will be the doctor. But then he will say, okay, you have problems with feed, you need to put more protein, you need to put, for instance, some urea, whatever, and they are messing with the diet. So that's the problem for me. I'm not saying that there is no nutritionist that will try to do it as well and try to be the doctor, because it's always on the ego of the guy. But yeah, we're not supposed to go into each other's boots. And
so
you explain it really, really.
So for all of the vets, learn a basics for the feeding. You will grow your value like exponentially.
Yeah.
Really, it's not anymore about like treating the animals. It's about like to see like overall herd and how you can find the source, where's the problem. And that's the main point. The same as I always, for me, it's very hard to find someone with who I'm willing to work, because when you're like digging so deep and there's like person, okay, who's coming like there's that, or there's no opinion, nothing. The same as we talk already with working with system, precision feeding, so on. It's for me hard here. So I know that always there is like, you need to make some kind of bond. How it's important for you to make some bond with the farmer or people you're working with?
It depends on the farmer, The farmer needs to trust me. That's the most important thing.
How you felt that farmer doesn't trust you? Have you felt it?
Oh, so many times.
And
why?
Usually, why he doesn't trust you? Because he doesn't see the results, or what?
No, the problem is that I'm always thinking that about myself, that if I did not explain it clearly and somebody doesn't trust me, so my solution, it's my fault that I didn't put it in the right way that he could understand and believe in it. That's let's say I'm thinking about it like that. Not like, okay, he do not trust me because, okay, we do not like each other or whatever. I'm going full professional with the farmers because I always was like that, to go and do my job. I do not need new friends. This is my clients and I would like to do the best job I could with every case, yeah? So good diet, good advisory, and in the end, it's happening or not. And I know that if I'm not trying to bond too much to the client, but just by my experience and whatever I'm explaining, trying to show the client, to the farmer, that I know what I'm talking about, and he still do not trust me, it's probably my fault that I didn't explain it properly. That's my way.
Okay, what you think about like key elements for like farmers who will succeed in the future and who are not?
Dreamers and believers.
Dreams and hopes.
Yeah.
As always.
They won't succeed. It will happen. At one point, we probably we could talk 10 years ago, we could talk 5 years ago, and we will say, okay, this guy is only feeding on dreams, and he still does it. I know that there will be some time when they will stop because it won't be efficient anymore. Because we now we are see what's happening to the prices, to the market. But for me, the key points, the gold, let's say, point for me would be, maybe it was stated today a couple of times that maybe the milk yield or the performance is not the only goal that you need to reach. Maybe control your diet better. Try to be the most efficient feeder there is, and even though it won't give you the result that everybody is aiming,
but maybe like feed conversion, you already know that like Cemex, STGen got already indexes for the feed conversion rates. Do you believe that it could be like next step ahead?
Yeah, it will be, but okay, it will be the next parameter to look at. And for me, the more important is what do you do. You have so much data in your farm, yeah?
We got a few, yeah.
Yeah, you have so much data, I know it. And it always depends on how you look at it. Because you can get something from it, you can get the trends, you can prepare it.
It's clear. There's no use for data if you're not using them. It's clear.
And for me, the new ideas, they are good, the ROIs, everything. But in the end, it always depends on if you will use it or not, if it will be useful for you or not. Because it's another parameter. Next couple of years, we will be probably measuring something even more. So, yeah.
Who knows? Okay, thank you, Gregaš, and that's all for today.
Thank you.
Paldies viesiem, ka šodien ieradāties. Paldies liels Tomam, kad viņš ir ar mums un palīdz un vada šo raidījumu. Paldies visiem, kas klausījās šo raidījumu, un cerams, ka jums noderēja vai vismaz iedvesmoja. Uz tikšanos nākamajā raidījumā.